This is not a perfect routine, but this is the real one. The one that I've actually followed for years to stay strong, lean and feeling good, and not burnt out, not injured, and not obsessed. And if you're over 35 and you're still trying to train the way you did in your 20s, well, this might be why it's not working anymore. I want to start by saying that this is not bodybuilding. This is not extreme fat loss, and it's definitely not punishment style training. My goal now is longevity. It's strength, it's consistency, and it's a body that supports my life and not one that feels constantly sore or exhausted or inflamed. This routine, it's flexible. So some weeks I train 4 days and some weeks I train 5. The structure stays the same, but the schedule moves with my life. And so the biggest shift that I've made as I've gotten older is that consistency will beat intensity every single time. So I'm no longer chasing things like exhaustion. I train my body with it and not against it. And I give myself permission to rest without feeling guilty. So strength training is always going to be the anchor of everything that I do, and everything else will support that. So something that I think is really important to say, because I feel like it's not talked about enough, is that I don't rely on motivation to work out. And most days, honestly, I don't feel like working out. And I think that actually surprises a lot of people. So what keeps me consistent isn't motivation, it's routine. So this has become part of my lifestyle. The same way that I'll brush my teeth or make a cup of coffee in the morning, I don't wake up debating it. I don't wait until I'm inspired, I just do it. So when something is a routine, it just becomes automatic. It doesn't require the same mental energy. And that's been a huge transformation for me, sort of removing the emotional negotiation around working out. I don't ask myself, do I feel like it? No, of course I don't feel like it. I'll ask myself, what does my body need today? Some days that is a full on hardcore workout. Sometimes it's just walking. And sometimes, honestly, it's just rest. But movement is a non-negotiable. And the form of that movement, however, is. So I strength train 4 to 5 days a week. So depending on how I'm feeling. And I don't assign specific days to workouts. I just sort of rotate through them throughout the week. And that flexibility is honestly key. So if my life gets busy or my body needs more rest, nothing feels like it's missed or it's ruined. So here's the rotation that I typically will cycle through during the week. First is a full lower body day. So this is going to be heavier, more strength focused. So squats, leg presses, lunges, hamstring and quad accessories like leg curls or leg extensions. And on my lower body days, I'll stay within the 8 to 10 rep range. So this is heavy enough to challenge me, but I'm always going to be in control here. My next day is going to be back and biceps. So that's rows, lat pulls or pull downs, rear delt work, definitely bicep work. My upper body days are usually higher reps, adding a bit more volume, usually the 12 to 15, because it feels better on my joints. So I don't go super, super heavy, but just heavy enough to really feel like I'm progressing without having extra strain on my joints. Next, I'll go into another lower day. This is my glute focus day. So that's gonna be my hip thrusts and my kickbacks, step ups, RDLs, Bulgarian split squats, all this sort of single leg work. Strength is still very encouraged here. I like to go 8 to 10 reps, so keeping it heavy. I struggle with building my glutes, so I really like to dig deep on this day. And again, doing isolation work, like single leg work, is really helpful for me. Next, I'll do a chest and triceps. That's going to be presses, push-ups, tricep extensions, dips, things like that. Same idea as my other upper body, so 12 to 15 reps, controlled tempo. Nothing is ever rushed in my workouts. And then I'll go back into shoulders. We love a good shoulder, so presses, lat raises, more rear delt work. This is going to be about balance, it's about posture, always about my joint health. I love to throw my ab workouts in on my upper body days as well. I don't like to do those on my lower body. And then finally, I'll go back to another lower body day because I like to do lower body 3 times a week. My body responds really well to this. It's something that I definitely focus on. And the consistency of that is really important, but also listening to my rest and recovery cues. So if I feel like my legs are a little overworked, then I'll step back and I'll give it an extra day or two to rest. I take rest days every 2 to 3 days for at least 1 or 2 days. So depending on how I feel. So some weeks that means that I get 1 or 2 rest days. Other weeks it might mean that I get 2 or 3. So I'm not trying to force it. This has been one of the biggest changes in my results because recovery is actually part of the program and it's not a break from it. Your body actually builds muscle during the recovery period and not when you're at the gym. I don't do any traditional cardio, so I'm not doing HIIT workouts. I'm not spending hours on the treadmill or the Stairmaster. I just walk. So I try to stay active just throughout the week on my own, but I definitely don't train every day. Walking keeps me lean, it helps support my recovery, and it definitely helps to regulate my stress. So if you can get outside, get the fresh air, get in nature, and have that vitamin D, that sun on your face, it will help you with your stress in ways you never imagined. And cortisol is such a huge part of weight gain, especially as we get older and we start going through perimenopause and menopause. So getting those extra walks in and just being in nature can really help to relax and rest and, really help regulate those hormones. The way that I train now looks very different than I did years ago. I mean, there was a time when I thought, more is always going to be better. More workouts, more intensity, more discipline. And while that worked for a little while, it's just eventually going to sort of sputter out on you. It's just not physically and mentally sustainable. So what I've learned is that my body responds best when I respect it. So when I give it the structure, but not the pressure, and when I stay consistent, but I'm still flexible. And this routine is something that I've settled into over time by paying attention to how I feel, how I recover, how my body just responds in the long term. So it's not about doing the most, it's about doing what I can actually sustain. This routine works for me because honestly, it just fits into my life and not the other way around. I don't wake up dreading my workouts. I don't feel behind if I take a rest day, and I don't feel like I have to start over every single week if it doesn't go exactly to plan. So I love feeling strong, I love feeling capable, and I feel like I'm taking care of my body in a way that supports the life that I want to live and not just how I want to look. I mean, that mindset shift has made all the difference. So I wanted to share this because I know so many of you feel like you don't know maybe where to start or that you're doing everything right, but you're still feeling tired or frustrated or just disconnected from your body. And if this routine feels more realistic or more aligned for you, then I would love to know. I mean, you can leave me a comment or, just take what resonates and leave the rest. But this is what's worked for me. And it's taken time for me to get here. And I really just wanted to share that with you and hopefully inspire some of you, to get up, get out there, and hopefully get a little bit more movement in. So thank you so much for being here. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.